Hi, I'm chatting here today with Elizabeth Field, violinist with the Bach Festival Orchestra, and Loretta O'Sullivan, cellist with the Bach Festival Orchestra, and they're going to tell us a little bit about the Saturday morning program for the Bach Festival this coming May.
On Saturday morning, we're playing a concert that's very much like the kind of programming that was done at the Zimmerman's Coffee House in Leipzig. And this was something that Bach often put on for audiences, and it was a rather informal setting. And so we're going to play a number of chamber music pieces.
The cool thing about the coffee house is that, in fact, the coffee house was really the public music hall, because of course Bach was involved in writing a great deal of liturgy. He wrote all of his cantatas, and there was also a lot of music in the court, but there wasn't an opportunity for sort of secular music, especially secular chamber music. So how the coffee house grew out is that Telemann actually started a group called the Collegium Musicum in about 1702. And in 1723, it became the resident group in Gottfried Zimmermann's coffee house. And Zimmerman provided, in his coffee house, a venue for these concerts, and he actually bought instruments. And what would happen is twice weekly, they would have 2-hour programs. And when Bach took over the Collegium in 1728, I believe it was, he would have two programs a week for 2 hours each, and this was a venue where he would premiere a lot of his new music, especially things like the keyboard concertos, some of which we're playing, keyboard and violin concertos, which we're playing on Saturday, and then exciting music of his colleagues. For example, even Neapolitan composers like Porpora, who was very exciting, and Telemann, of course, and Vivaldi, and Loretta's going to play a concerto by Porpora, who was a Neapolitan composer who was well known for his cantatas, but wrote absolutely gorgeous, extravagant string music. So maybe you can tell us about his concerto.
Okay. Well, it's a wonderful concerto, and one can tell that Porpora wrote for the voice because the cello lines are very lush, very, very vocal, and it opens with a sort of arioso kind of movement, and then the second movement is a sort of show-off piece for the cello. It's very energetic, much along the lines of Vivaldi. And then the second slow movement is really sort of like night music, very, very ethereal music. And there's lots of intertwining of the different voices, and the cello being only one of the beautiful voices in that movement. And then it ends with a very sort of sparkly dance movement. So it's a wonderful piece. Really happy to play it.
Charlotte Maddox is going to be playing the fantastic A major harpsichord concerto, and I'm actually playing a G minor violin concerto, which was not originally written for the violin. It was actually originally written in F minor for the harpsichord, but Bach arranged a lot of his pieces for 2 different instruments, and this is one of the concertos which is both violin and keyboard, although it's most often heard on the keyboard. So she's playing the Porpora concerto, and then we're doing some Vivaldi. And I'm playing actually an unaccompanied piece by Telemann, which is a fantasy, and people have heard Loretta played the wonderful, which suite did you play?
The first cello suite.
Yeah, Loretta played the first cello suite a couple of weeks ago at the Tuesday concert. So people are very familiar with the unaccompanied Bach string pieces, but Telemann also wrote these absolutely fantastic fantasies. And they're a little bit smaller in scope, but they're amazing. They have these fantastic affect changes, and what I'm doing, it has this kind of dreamy, extravagant narrative, and then it goes into this funny dance, and then a slow saraband, and it really ends in a little gavotte, and it's all self-contained, and I'm very excited about playing that piece. Thing about this concert is we're going to be playing on period instruments, which is, I think, the second time I've done this here in Bethlehem. And we're very excited about this. We both love to play. I mean, I would play Bach on spoons if that was my only option, but I'm happy to play it on modern violin and on period instruments, and that we just get this kind of connection to the medium in which these composers wrote the music. And especially, for me, what's the most exciting thing about this music is this music was never meant to be listened to on a recording. This music is an event. It's not a product, which means that every time it's played, it's a different event, and that means that the audience is really part of the performance. So we're really looking forward to this concert.